afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Average Dave's Movie and TV Talk. This is episode 24.
Maybe.
Just fair warning about our movie TV Talk channel. We do talk spoilers. We do talk politically sensitive issues.
Liberals.
And we are not politically correct
We are
about the entertainment industry. And we speak our mind about the entertainment industry. And every so often, some bad words might come out. That's usually Dave. This is our opinion, nobody else's opinions. And always remember, entertainment is subjective, and that is what makes talking about it fun. Don't forget, if you have any questions, please comment in the comment section or reach out to us at the Average Dave's Talk at yahoo.com. Also, check out and subscribe to Okemo Valley TV on YouTube or at okemovalley.tv, and also on channels 1076 and 1086 on Xfinity Comcast.
We're like right there with the premiums.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting up there.
I mean, we have the viewership number of like ABC.
Yeah,
so
The View.
We're up there.
The View. I mean, they got a few videos,
For some reason, the View still gets, views.
Yeah, well.
I don't know.
I don't even want to get into that. Got anything to say before we get going?
Yeah, go Birds.
Okay, football's done.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
It's just getting started.
Your Phillies need to get playing better ball, though.
What the hell are you talking about? They're like 8-2.
Yeah, better than my Red Sox. They just lost 2 in a row. So
They just beat the Dodgers.
5-6, I think the Red Sox are. So anyways, all right, first we're getting into our quick topics, and one of them is the passing of Val Kilmer, who was age of 65 years old. He had some really, really good movies in his repertoire. Top Gun.
We lost Iceman.
Yep. Tombstone. Heat.
Batman Forever.
You know what? He wasn't bad as Batman. He was better
Batman Forever is not unwatchable.
No.
It's not good.
No, it's not great.
But it's not unwatchable.
Willow.
Yes? What was the name of that? Like Mad Mortigan?
Yep.
Or something? Yeah.
But yeah, Val Kilmer, he died due to throat cancer. If you watch Top Gun Maverick, you could really see it in that. That was actually hard for me to watch, that scene with him in there.
But I'm glad they put it in. I'm glad they put something in there.
Yeah. So yeah, Val Kilmer passed away at the age of 65 years. Next topic is
John Boyega.
John Boyega, who really doesn't have much in his repertoire of acting credentials and credits. But yeah, he just came out and blamed fans, but mostly white male fans.
White people.
For his movies that he was in, Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and The Rise of Palpatine. Rise of Skywalker.
Which were all three of them billion-dollar movies.
Yeah, but blaming mostly white people on it because he said Star Wars fans are the whitest fans of all, and that Star Wars is full of white characters. Oh, yeah. But you also had...
That's terrible.
You also had Darth Vader, voiced by James Earl Jones. You had Mace Windu, played by who?
Samuel
L. Jackson. And you had Lando Calrissian, played by Billy D. Williams.
Yeah.
Stop. I am so sick and tired of these actors and actresses.
And they're three of the biggest characters. Like, Mace Windu was, outside of Yoda, Obi-Wan, and Anakin, the biggest Jedi in the prequels.
Yeah.
And, he was basically up there with Yoda for, the prequels.
Yeah.
But the reason he's not bigger than Yoda, I would say, is because Yoda.
But I'm getting sick and tired of these actors and actresses whose films flop.
Because they're not good.
Right. But they want to blame somebody, so they blame the fans, or they come out and say the fans are racist.
It's culturally acceptable to just blame white people.
Yeah, well, you got to remember, this is also the same clown that supported Black Lives Matter and Antifa during the love riots, the summer love riots.
You don't hear anything about them anymore.
Yeah. But he came right out, publicly supported those riots. The guy needs to go away. He's not. He doesn't have anything anyways. He's not a good actor.
He's like Rachel Zegler. He's going to go away.
Yeah, his role sucked in Star Wars. And they made it worse as the role. If he has to blame anybody on his stuff, blame the writers.
Yeah.
Because
the writers, the directors, the Kathleen Kennedys.
Yeah. That was on them, his role. That has nothing to do with people out in public trying to watch a decent movie.
You give Star Wars to a bunch of idiots that don't understand Star Wars.
And that's what you get. Yep.
And then you cast activists as actors.
Yeah.
Well.
Next little quick topic is I love the original movie, Naked Gun. The new trailers dropped for Naked Gun with Liam Neeson. I loved it. I thought it was funny. You could tell that this is a Seth MacFarlane movie because it's not going to be politically correct.
O.J. Simpson was featured in the trailer.
And
that was wonderful.
And that part, I laughed my ass off when I saw that part. But you can tell this is not going to be a politically correct.
The guy who played Richard Jules in it, the guy who was Stingray and Cobra Kai. I can't remember his name, but
I enjoyed the trailer. It's
good to see him getting more work. Yeah, it's like when you told me that there's a Naked Gun movie coming out, I had no idea.
I didn't know it was coming out.
And then you're like, Liam Neeson's in it. I'm like,
and Liam Neeson could actually be funny. He's been funny before.
He's been funny in Seth MacFarlane stuff.
Yeah. What was that? Million Ways to Die in the West?
Yeah, but his like two cameo, or no, I'm sorry, his two cameos in Ted 2.
Oh yeah.
Well, he was buying the tricks.
The tricks thing is one of the best dry you ever seen. That was awesome. It was awesome. That was one of the best parts of that Ted 2.
I've never seen Ted 2.
Yeah, so.
I saw the first one. I didn't think the second one would be that good. I should probably see it, but yeah.
And the last one we'll get into is the 5-minute drop of the Superman extended trailer.
I don't know.
I liked it.
I want to see the movie, and I hope it's great. But that trailer
it was okay.
That dog was kind of goofy.
See, I like the dog part. I do. I like Crypto because I can remember Crypto from the comic books and stuff.
I'm wondering.
The Fortress of Solitude looked pretty awesome. They'll come out of the ice.
Yeah, but why does it come out of the ice? I thought it was just a thing that was there.
Well, they're just taking their take on it. Okay. I thought it was pretty cool. And what they did with the modernization of the Superman theme.
That's awesome.
That was pretty cool.
I hope Crypto's not in the movie too much.
I bet he's in there probably. I would say 20, 25 minutes of the movie.
There better be more Supergirl than Crypto.
There's going to be a lot in there, I think.
And they haven't even shown her yet. No, but apparently they started filming her movie.
But there's going to be a lot of superheroes in it. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to it.
It's a movie that I think needs to be 3 hours long. Because if they're going to introduce all these characters and they're setting
you
this
don't
up
want to crush too much in.
And they're setting this up to be the launching point for their DCEU.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean,
it's going to have
to be a long movie.
If it's like an hour and 50 minutes, I'm going to be like, I'm just going to think going in, this movie's probably going to suck.
Yeah. No, but I'm looking forward to it. I mean, Superman is an iconic character. They've kind of done him wrong in the past few movies. You know, Man of Steel was a great movie, but after that, they did it wrong. They did it wrong with him. So, yeah. So, you got anything to say before we get into our main topic?
Well, I mean, as far as Superman in the Snyder version of the Justice League, like when he comes back, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, but they had to redo it because the original Justice League.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying,
even his
in the original Justice, it was bad. It was pretty crappy, but in the Snyder cut, it was pretty good.
Yeah, Batman versus Superman. Superman wasn't all that great in that one. They didn't do Henry Cavill right as Superman.
Well, I mean, they had him come back for Black Adam to, announce his glorious return back into the DC cinematic universe or whatever they were calling it,
and then screw him over,
and then fire him 2 weeks later. Yeah. It's like. Okay,
you know why? Because I think they knew Black Adam's going to suck, and let's make people know that, hey, we got a cameo coming, and everybody kind of figured it would be Superman, because Black Adam is a bad movie.
That whole Army of the Dead or Army from Hell was
bad.
So, you have a bunch of farmers with pitchforks taking them out?
Yeah, it was bad.
What?
Got anything to say before we get into the main topic?
Go Birds.
Okay, go Birds. Okay. All right, so our main topic today is our top 10 science fiction movies that are not Star Wars and cannot take place on Earth.
Some of these movies, I don't even remember what they're about because I've seen them so long ago. Or I've only seen them once. I have, whatever.
We usually have 2 honorable mentions. I only came up with 1.
I only had 1 too.
So we have our 10 plus 1 honorable mention.
Yep.
And if you want, go ahead first there.
So my first one I went with, I'm probably saying it wrong, Krull.
Oh, that's a good movie.
1983, starring Ken Marshall, Lysette Anthony, David Batley, who was the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
He was Ergo the Magnificent.
Yep.
He was awesome.
Yep.
Liam Neeson, Robbie Coltrane, directed by Peter Yates. This movie is It's set on the planet Krull.
Krull.
I don't know, because I just watched it the other day, and they didn't say Krull.
It's Krull. All right, whatever.
It's basically a fairy tale.
Yeah.
Princess marrying the princess. The evil beast comes from nowhere, or comes from space and kidnaps her, and he has to go seek out a magical weapon, and then goes on an adventure with the young Hagrid and Obi-Wan.
Pretty much what it is. Yeah, pretty much what it is. But as a kid, I loved that movie. I can remember when it first came out. I loved it.
It came out the year I was born. I remember watching it.
Glaive. 1, 2, 3, 6 blades? 5. 5? Yeah, that was pretty badass.
Yeah, but he only uses it in like one scene.
Yeah, 1 or 2 scenes, yeah. Yep.
Go ahead, Dave. What's your honorable?
My honorable mention is Pitch Black from 2000. Vin Diesel. What was
what?
Carl Urban. Yeah.
Carl Urban was not in Pitch Black.
No, he was in the other one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you thinking of Cole Hauser?
Yeah, Cole Hauser.
Maybe I should look at my thing.
So, yeah, Pitch Black from 2000. That's my honorable mention.
Good movie.
Yeah, decent.
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Can I go?
You can.
All right. Since you gave us such a riveting analysis.
Yeah,
you know what? I'm going to be like that with some of these movies because it's been a while. It's either been a while since I've seen them or I haven't seen them enough.
No.
My number 10, I went with Predators, 2010. Adrian Brody, Lawrence Fishburne, Topher Grace, Walton Goggins, Alice Braga, directed by, I guess this guy's Nimrod Antle. And it's basically the Predators from, the movie Predator and Predator 2 and AVP. Yep. They kidnap some people and they bring them to this planet to hunt them. And one of them is Lawrence Fishburne, who's been there like a while.
A long time.
So they rely on his expertise to survive. And Adrian Brody plays this like elite soldier who, ends up being the main guy.
Were they all criminals or did they get in trouble?
I don't remember if they were all criminals. I think they just kidnapped them because they were just...
Yeah.
Well, the Predators, they just look for people worthy of hunting. So, yeah, my number 9, I went with Soldier, 1998. Kurt Russell, Connie Nielsen,
I forgot that
Jason
movie.
Scott Lee, Jason Isaacs, directed by Paul W.S. Anderson.
I forgot
Takes
that
place
movie.
on this trash planet. Kurt Russell plays this genetically engineered super soldier who gets replaced. His whole unit gets replaced by this upgraded version.
But they're human.
Yeah, yeah, they are human. They're just genetically upgraded.
Yep.
And
To be elite warriors.
yeah, Kurt Russell is like the best of the first generation of these super soldiers, and he ends up on this trash planet where this new generation goes in to wipe out the humans that are there living, and he ends up befriending the humans that are living there and ends up defending them. And it's a really good movie. From what I read, like Kurt Russell only says like about 100 words.
I was just
throughout
saying
the entire
he had
movie.
very, very few.
Because he was basically this guy where you kept in a case that said break in case of war. Like his whole thing was being the ultimate soldier.
I forgot that
It
movie.
was a really good movie. It was a really fun movie.
I really enjoyed that movie.
Well, Dave, it should have been on your list.
I forgot all about it.
Well, that's because
Yep.
you don't research.
Okay. Yeah. You did your 2?
Those are my 2, Predators and Soldiers.
My number 10 is 2001: A Space Odyssey from 1968, starring Keir Dullea and Gary Lockwood, directly by Stanley Kubrick. Pretty much a story about Dr. Dave Bowman and other astronauts are sent on a mysterious mission. Their ship's computer, HAL, gets pretty much, if you really want to say it, nowadays we call it a virus, and his whole thing is pretty much to destroy the humans, and he just begins getting strange behaviors, setting up probably one of the first movies where you had man versus, now we call it AI. Love the movie.
It's coming, Dave.
Huh? It is.
AI, the war.
Some of the stuff
Listen, we all know that The Matrix is a sequel to The Terminator. Okay?
Yeah, some of the stuff that they're already talking about, the AI can do and stuff is like, okay.
Well, AI is going to start figuring stuff out where eventually we could be 100 years from death being obsolete.
Yeah.
Like them just being able to clone you a new body. Who knows?
Well, did you see where they just brought back the DNA from the dire wolves? And they have 2 wolves now.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
They
leave well enough alone.
Jurassic Park is happening.
Yeah.
AI is figuring this shit out, and they probably do have some mosquito somewhere with some blood samples in it.
Yeah, I mean,
what was it in? It was in like amber or something.
Amber.
Yeah.
Fossilized amber. Yeah.
Maybe they're out there.
Yep. My number 9.
T-Rex is coming down the streets of Ludlow.
Okay. Number 9, The Black Hole, starring Maximilian Schell and Anthony Perkins, directed by Gary Nelson, and it's a story about the USS Palomino on its way back to Earth. They discover a ship that they thought was long lost or destroyed, called the USS Cygnus, I think it was.
What year did that come out?
19. I forgot to write that down. That's easy. But anyways,
I mean, you could ballpark it.
Yeah,
I'm just.
No,
how old is it?
It's
70s, 80s,
old.
40s.
No, it was in the 70s.
You like some old stuff, Dave?
Yeah, 1979.
Okay.
Yep.
Hey, 1979 had some good sci-fi movies.
Oh yeah. So they board the ship. They find a bizarre scientist played by Maximilian Schell and his faceless army. They have no face, and their whole object is they want to be the first to explore the black hole, but they're going about it in devious ways with the people on the USS Palomino. It's really good.
I haven't heard of it.
2001: Space Odyssey. You would have thought, this here in 2001. Now we're in 2025, and we're not even close to what they thought we would be in 2001. So, I like that movie. Go ahead.
So I went with 2. My next 2 are from the same franchise. My number 8 is Pitch Black, 2000. Vin Diesel, Cole Hauser, Radom Mitchell, Keith David, Mary's dad.
I forgot Keith David was in that.
Yeah, it's Mary's dad.
Yeah.
Where the hell was I? Because you interrupted me. Oh, Rihanna Griffith, directed by David Twalthy. I don't know, I'm probably saying his name wrong. This guy was like pretty up and coming, David Twalthy, in like the early 2000s because he came out with that, and then he did The Chronicles of Riddick, which I really enjoyed, and he kind of disappeared into nowhere after those. But Pitch Black, they are on a transport ship, crash lands on this planet. There turns out this planet's about to go into this cycle of like endless night, and there's these creatures out there that come out when it's dark, and they're
pretty badass looking creatures.
Yeah, they actually look pretty cool. Yeah. But they will hunt and kill just about anything, and Vin Diesel plays Riddick, who has his eyes shine so he can see in the dark, and he's this sort of intergalactic super criminal. Really, really good movie. It's actually more of like a horror.
Sci-fi horror.
Yeah. But then the sequel, which is my number 7, The Chronicles of Riddick, 2004, Vin Diesel, Colm Feore, probably saying that wrong, Alexa Davalos, Carl Urban, he's in the sequel,
yep.
Judi Dench, and Tawandi Newton, probably saying that wrong, again directed by David Twalthy. I don't know. I'm not smart. But this movie is more of like a sci-fi action where Vin Diesel comes back as Riddick, and Keith David's character ends up sending out these bounty hunters to try and capture him and bring him back to his planet because they're about to be, he thinks, invaded by these sort of this humanoid alien race called the Necromorphs. The Necromongers. Necromorphs is from Alien, right?
Yep.
Yeah, because I'm stupid. The Necromongers, and they have their Lord Marshal or whatever, played by Colm Feore, and it's really just a sci-fi action movie. It was just a fun movie. Like, yeah, the story's kind of shallow, but just seeing Vin Diesel play Riddick, he's just a badass character. He's kind of like Snake Plissken. Just like someone that you don't want to mess with.
Right.
Someone who's like the
girl that played
super criminal.
Starbuck in the Battlestar series. She was in that one.
No, she was in the third one, which was just Riddick.
Okay.
Which kind of let me down because Carl Urban was only in it one scene, and I really liked.
Carl Urban's just a good actor.
I love Carl Urban. The worst part of Riddick was there wasn't enough Carl Urban. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's my 8 and 7, Pitch Black and The Chronicles of Riddick.
All right, so my number 8 will be Outland from 1981, starring Sean Connery and Peter Boyle. Directed by Peter Hyams. It's a story about a violent drug ring on a mining planet, a mining moon, which is the third moon of Jupiter. And Sean Connery is the marshal of that mining community, and he's trying to take on this drug ring, kind of like in a modern day drug cop versus drug theft. They kidnap his girlfriend, and they're sending a team after him. Sean Connery was excellent in this movie.
Sounds like something I would want to watch.
You should. I think you'd enjoy it. Really, they do a great job showing some mining community because it's like really dirty, gritty, dark. It's just the whole atmosphere of the scene and stuff. You can tell they're in a mining community, and he's a really good job as pretty much a space marshal. But yeah, Outland from 1981. My number 7 is Spaceballs from 1987, starring Bill Pullman, late John Candy, late great, and Mel Brooks, who I think has some of the best movies.
You're missing someone.
What's that?
Said you're missing a major character. A major actor.
Oh,
Rick Moranis.
Rick Moranis.
Yeah. He was what? Dark Helmet?
Dark Helmet. This is the greatest spoof of Star Wars. It really is.
Yeah,
it's a full 100% spoof of Star Wars. I mean, it's
I don't know. Did you ever watch, what was it called? Blue Harvest?
What is it?
The one that, what's his face did? Seth MacFarlane and Family Guy did?
No, I've never watched the whole thing. I saw bits and pieces.
I mean, whether or not you want to call it a spoof or a reimagining.
This is a direct spoof.
Yeah. I mean, I get it, but.
It's really a story about President Scrooge, who is Mel Brooks, from the planet Spaceball, ordering Dark Helmet to steal the air from, what is it, Judea? The planet Judea.
It's been so long.
Which had the Princess Vespa on it. So he wants them. They have this big the spaceship has this big vacuum cleaner on it. He can suck the air out of the atmosphere, and so they want to kidnap Princess Vespa. So Lone Star, played by Bill Pullman, and Barf, who's a direct ripoff of Chewbacca, but he's a dog, played by the late great John Candy. They go rescue her and end the rule of Scrooge and Dark Helmet. Dark Helmet is a little short version of Darth Vader with this huge helmet. The ring.
Yep.
It's a fun,
what do they call the Force in that movie? Schwartz.
And you can definitely tell this is a Mel Brooks film.
Oh, yeah.
From everything that he does in it, it's so good. It is so funny. If you haven't seen it,
no, bro, he's still alive, right?
Yeah.
But he's
got to be in his 90s.
He's up there.
Got to be in his 90s. But yeah, give it a
another
watch.
one we could lose soon.
Spaceballs from 1987. Just for, like I said, the little things.
If you like Mel Brooks movies,
Yeah.
you've seen Spaceballs.
Yeah,
it's like one of his must-watches.
Yeah,
so.
the ship that turns into a big vacuum cleaner, and the all the different little comments they make, and it's so good. And Barf, John Candy, John Candy is awesome.
I kind of, yeah, it is a sci-fi, but I always just think of that as more of a comedy.
But it's a sci-fi comedy.
My turn. Yep. My number 6, I went with Dark City, 1998. Rufus Sewell, Kiefer Sutherland, Jennifer Connelly, William Hurt, directed by Alex Proyas.
Dark City?
Yeah. So Rufus Sewell's character wakes up in this like seedy bathroom. Looks like there's just been like a murder or something. And he ends up being pursued by these humanoid aliens who dress in like black trench coats, and they wear like these like black hats, and they're called the Strangers. And every single night the city like rearranges itself, and people only live at night there. So they kind of fall asleep. The city will rearrange itself, and these strangers will come out, and they'll put people in different like locations, and they'll wipe their memories so that they're sort of they're like living out these reenactments. It's a really, really cool movie.
Never even heard of it.
Really? Yeah, and it turns out that they're on this floating space station in space that these strangers control, and Rufus Sewell's character ends up getting helped by Kiefer Sutherland, who's this doctor who helps them wipe people's memories and stuff. And he ends
So
up
every day they wake up, it's like a whole new...
every day they wake up, it's like a new night. They never live during the day, but they have. It's just this really creative movie. But Rufus Sewell ends up somehow getting these strangers' power of like telepathy, and he ends up defeating their leader and freeing all of these humans. And
I have to find that.
yeah, it's a good movie.
Never even heard of it.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, I have to find it.
Check it out. Dark City, good one. My number 5, I went with Star Trek II: Wrath of Khan. 1982, William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, Richard Montalban, DeForest Kelly.
Ricardo Montalban.
What? Oh yeah, Ricardo Montalban. Whatever. James Doonan, Walter Koenig, Nichelle Nichols, Christy Alley, directed by Nicholas Meyer.
The best Star Trek movie.
This
of all
is the
time.
best. Yeah, it is the best Star Trek movie of all time.
I left it off there because I thought there was a scene on Earth.
So the movie starts off when they're in this training sim, but I read that was actually on board the Starship Enterprise.
Okay.
Which at that point was a training ship.
Okay.
And then they get this distress call that they have to go and investigate, and they, find, Khan, what was his name? Khan Noonan Singh.
Yeah.
And he blames James T. Kirk for exiling his people, and they get into this.
Killing his son, too, right? Khan's son?
Khan kills Kirk's son.
That's right, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I left it off because I thought there was a scene on
No,
Earth.
it doesn't start off on Earth. It starts
All right,
off aboard the Enterprise, which is in space.
Okay, I would have put that on there, so I got that wrong. Okay.
So, from what I understand, this movie was not on Earth. Any research? I don't remember there being any scenes on Earth.
Okay.
Because they're on board the ship, they get the distress call, they go, and they find Khan, and they have their
By far the
battle
best.
of wits, basically.
Oh, yeah. By far the best Star Trek movie.
One of the best endings to a Star Trek movie.
The little worm they put in the guy's ears, that was nasty.
Awesome movie.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean that would have easily been in my movies, but I thought that scene took place on Earth, so I didn't put it on there.
No, I thought it might have been at Starfleet Academy, but no, it was aboard the Enterprise, which at that time was a training ship. I just watched it a couple years ago, and I didn't remember it being on Earth.
No. Great movie.
My number 4. Wait a minute. No.
You can stop there.
No.
You're on a roll.
Stop.
You're on a roll.
Those are two good ones, man.
So my number 6 is Krull from 1983. We pretty much went over it. It's a story about the creature, the beast, who destroyed the planet Krull's military. Like you said,
I gotta tell you, the costume design in that movie was pretty crap.
Yeah, it is.
Like they have these soldiers in like armor, but they also have it's like a futuristic looking like medieval armor. It's
right.
Weird.
Yeah, I think they went with that medieval look, and like you said, the medieval look that they wanted to like make. I liked the movie. It was one of the first sci-fi movies that I can remember seeing.
It's got a young Obi-Wan in it.
Yeah. Other than Star Wars and another one that we're going to get into on here, that was one of those first space sci-fi movies that I went and saw in the theater, and I loved it. So, yeah. So my number 6 was Krull. My number 5 is Enemy Mine from 1985, starring Dennis Quaid and the late great Louis Gossett Jr. You ever see it?
These just movies I haven't even heard of.
You've never
I
seen
think you're
it?
making them up.
Okay. Well, it's pretty much this. It's directed by Wolfgang Peterson. A story of two enemies
Making up directors
who have crash land on an alien planet because both sides were fighting each other. They both happened to crash land on this alien planet. And to learn how to survive, they actually have to work together, and ultimately they become friends. And the ending is actually it can tug at your heart. You really got to watch Enemy Mine. Dennis Quaid was excellent. Louis Gossett Jr. is the alien. Great movie. Great movie.
Probably better if Rainey Quaid was in it. We have Cousin Eddie.
No, Dennis Quaid and the great Louis Gossett Jr. So give it a watch.
Is it my turn? Because I know that you're making up movies.
Yeah, I'm just making them up.
All right, my number 4, I went with Alien. 1979. We've talked about it before. We've been over it before. Ellen Ripley is one of the great females of cinema.
Oh, strong female character of all. One of probably my top 3, top 2.
Yeah, top 2. It's really her and
Sarah Connor.
Yeah, Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor.
Yeah, I mean, Princess Leia is up there.
Yeah, but Princess Leia wasn't like a physical badass herself.
No, but
like she wasn't afraid to pick up a blaster.
Right.
But
she stood up to Vader.
Yeah.
I mean, no, but yeah, no. Sarah Ripley is.
The crew of the Nostromo find a crashed alien spaceship, end up with a face hugger attached to one of them.
And all
one of those
loose.
things gets out and wipes out the entire crew, aside from Ellen Ripley. Such a great movie.
It is one of the best. It's a sci-fi horror movie.
Yeah,
It's a horror movie all day long.
My number 3, I actually went with Dune Part 1 and 2, 2021 and 2024.
Okay, well, if you're going to do that, then I will say that too.
But I mean, I didn't feel like doing 2 separate Dunes, but you really can't have one without the other.
Right.
So I went with Dune Part 1 and 2. Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya, Oscar Isaac, Javier Bardem, Rebecca Ferguson, Jason Momoa, Josh Brolin, Stellan Skarsgård, and Austin Butler. Directed by Denis Villeneuve. It's a remake of the 1984 movie, which is based on the book written sometime before 1984.
Yep, so good.
They were just really, really awesome movies. I need to go back and rewatch both. They were so good. They're one of the few movies that I've actually bought in the past few years. Like, I've bought The Batman, I've bought Oppenheimer, and I bought those 2. Nothing really comes to the top of my head that I bought within the past, 5 years, other than, those 4 movies. I need to rewatch them. I need to rewatch them multiple times. So, but if you haven't watched them, check them out. They take place on this planet Dune and this sort of civil war between 2 great houses, and
What's it all over, pretty much?
it's all over.
The spice.
Yeah, the spice. I couldn't.
The spice is a drug.
I watched the first one back 4 years ago, and I watched the second one a year and a half ago. And I've only watched them the one time.
Yeah, Planet Arrakis.
Yeah, I need to watch them a bunch.
If you do, if you do watch Dune, watch what was it when the first one?
84. First one came out.
Watch it, the 1984 version,
Which I do want to check that one out too.
and then watch these 2 new ones. You'll see the difference in technology, what they've been able to do on screen.
Well, they're making a Dune TV show.
Yep.
And then they're making
A third one.
a 3rd movie.
Yep.
And I think they have plans for a 4th movie too.
So, but no, Dune's a good movie.
They were 2 excellent movies. Yeah. They were, like I said, 2 of. I've bought some older movies. I got the Back to the Future trilogy and stuff like that. But as far as new movies that have come out, very few I have thought worthy of buying.
I'm not the biggest Jason Momoa fan. He's okay. He's good. He was great in his little part in Game of Thrones before he died. But he was good in the first Dune.
Yeah, he was awesome.
He was badass. Josh Brolin is
He
badass.
was a fun Aquaman too. I get he wasn't.
Aquaman, I didn't mind. Aquaman 2 sucked.
Well, no, Aquaman 2 was terrible. The first Aquaman was fine.
It was
The second Aquaman was so bad, you could see the cuts in the editing, and I'm like,
they're jumping through
Dude,
the
they're
air. The
just
screen freezes. Click.
yeah, yeah. I'm like, you could see them shifting because
It was bad.
because of the bad editing.
Yeah, it was bad. The first one is actually watchable and it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's fun.
I thought he was fun in the Justice League movie.
I mean, I did like the first Aquaman is when they went and he finally got the traditional Aquaman suit.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty cool scene.
That was when he came out from that waterfall and he came out in the orange. Okay. I like that. My biggest issue with Jason Momoa in Aquaman is too surfer dude-ish. That was my biggest drawback from that movie. But it was a fun movie. But yeah, Jason Momoa was Josh Brolin, another guy. He is a good actor.
He's a great actor. No Country for Old Men is, and Sicario.
Yeah, Sicario, he was great.
You know what's funny? Sicario 2, the worst part of the first Sicario was the girl. I forget the actress's name. The woman from Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Whatever her name is. And she was the worst part of that movie. For the second one, they take her out of it, and it was worse.
It wasn't that it was a horrible movie.
It was pretty bad.
But the first, you had
Compared to the
Sicario,
first one?
and then you had, was it Day of the Sicario or whatever, number 2?
Yeah.
It was a drop off, but Sicario was a great movie. So my number 4, we just talked about it, is Dune. But if you're going to put it in there, I'll even put Dune 2 in there.
It deserves to be in there because
It's
they were both
it's
of
one
equal.
movie. It really is one.
They're both of equal. I believe there is a time lapse between the two of them, but the story is.
There's not much of a time lapse.
I think there is. Yeah, months.
Yeah.
So like, I can't say it's like one movie when there is a multi-month jump.
Yeah.
But it is one story, and like the stuff that was happening during those months were, I guess you could say, not relevant to the story. I don't know. Apparently from YouTubers that I've watched and that I like, their biggest gripe on these first 2 movies is that they really compress the like timeline, whereas in the books it was like over a course of years.
It's stretched out.
Where in this it was over like maybe like 6 like months or something.
Yeah, it was over like.
I mean, they don't
less
really
than a year.
begrudge it too bad because they say that they did a really, really good job and they understand why they did it. But that was like their biggest gripe.
But it's just everything about the movie.
Yeah, the first 2 movies were. I mean,
Special
Dune, like
effects,
part 1 and 2,
CGI, the sandworms, the fight scenes,
everything was excellent.
Yeah.
It was all excellent.
the ships. I love those. What were they called? Like the dragonflies?
Yeah, like the Dragonfly helicopter things.
Those
Those things were pretty cool.
Yeah, they were badass.
Yeah, check them out if you
Then
haven't
you
seen
see
them.
this total size of some of those base ships. They come. Things were huge.
Yep.
I mean, they're planet size almost. They're so big. My number 3 is, we've gone over it already, is Aliens from 1986. Sigourney Weaver, Michael Biehn, the late Bill Paxton, directed by and directed by James Cameron.
What is it with James Cameron directing like some of the greatest sequels of all time? That T2, which is the greatest sequel of all time.
Yep, but can't use it because it happens on Earth.
Well, no, Dave.
But Aliens,
Use that one.
Depending on which day, it'll be Aliens. You can watch it tomorrow and be like, Aliens, Alien.
No. For
For
me, it's always Aliens, Alien. Just a little bit lower.
But Sigourney Weaver was excellent. Michael Biehn was excellent. Bill Paxton was great. There's the Space Marines. The aliens are just total badass. If you have never watched Alien or Aliens,
What is wrong with you?
what is wrong with you? Go and either buy it, go on a streaming service, find it, watch it, because they are 2 of the greatest movies ever made.
Yeah. And the nice thing about modern day Hollywood is that they're still putting out a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with the video game industry. I'm playing older video games now, and I'm watching older movies. Because
What crap they're putting out.
although I do have to watch Invincible Season 3 and Reacher Season 3, which are both all out, and I got to watch them both. I'm probably going to start that tonight at work.
Yeah, okay, I'll bring this up. Just remind me something about Disney when we get done.
Oh,
It's awesome. It's awesome.
was that your number 3?
That was my number 3.
So my number 2, I went with Serenity. 2005. Nathan Fillion, Summer Glau, Gina Torres, Alan Tudyk, Sean Mayer, Adam Baldwin, Morena Baccarina, Jewel State, and Chiwetel Ejiofor, directed by Josh Whedon. This movie, that is unforgivable. You forgot about Serenity.
I forgot about that. Holy
Serenity
shit.
is the movie that capped off Josh Whedon's, I guess you call it a limited series, Firefly,
Yeah, which
is
awesome.
epic, which I'm actually watching now
I gotta watch it again.
with the mic at work.
I want to find it on Blu-ray or 4K.
So I just bought them. The movie I found in 4K and the series I found on Blu-ray. I could not find that on 4K.
Well,
But I did just rebuy both of them because they're awesome. They are my favorite thing Josh Whedon has ever done.
Yep.
When I first watched the show Firefly, which the movie is the ending of. So they do the show. It's a 14-episode show, and then they cap it off with this movie, which was awesome.
yeah.
I watched the first 13 episodes. I didn't watch the last episode till maybe a year later because I didn't want it to be over. Like, I knew that this was the last thing that I would ever watch within this universe, and I didn't want it to end. I like there being something something that I still didn't know about it. Yeah. But I ended up going back, rewatching the whole series, watched it, then I watched the movie, and it's just such a great story.
It is.
It was Josh Whedon wanted to do like a Western in space. It's all about the characters.
Yeah. Well, great story arcs. Everything.
Yeah, like for the television show, the budget's a little bit lower because it's like maybe like CW quality.
Yeah,
but that doesn't matter. You really don't care.
Great story.
It's all about the characters. Yeah. It is so well written.
Oh, it's so good. Serenity and Firefly.
Yeah, Serenity is my number 2. You cannot watch Serenity without watching Firefly. Yep. Watch them both if you've never seen them.
Oh, you have to because you won't know.
Yeah. Well, I watched the movie first because I didn't know that there was a show. So I like went out, watched like the movie, was like, wow, that was really awesome. Then I found out that there was a show before it, so I went and bought the show.
Yeah, you got to watch them. So good.
I mean, the movie held its own without the show, but it's so much better watching the show first. And my number 1, Aliens, 1986. We've gone over it before. Sigourney Weaver, Bill Paxton, Michael Biehn. Bean. Yeah. Don't correct me, Dave.
Well,
don't correct me.
You say things wrong.
Because I'm stupid. Janet Goldstein, Lance Henriksen, Paul Reiser as the seedy corporate scumbag. I forget his name in the movie, and I just watched it.
Yeah, scumbag. He gets it. He gets what coming to him, though.
Al Matthews, Carrie Henn, directed by James Cameron. Yeah. Look, aside from my inability to read names, which, whatever.
Great movie. So good.
My list is over. It's Aliens and Serenity are my top 2. Watch them both. They're great.
So my number 2 is Alien. 1979, Sigourney Weaver, Tom Skerritt, directed by Ridley Scott. We've gone over 100 times.
You're forgetting a late great on there. Ian Holm.
Who?
Ian Holm.
Oh, yeah.
Bilbo.
Yeah. Forgot that, yeah. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he's like...
Late, yeah.
He's like the 3rd biggest character in the movie.
Yeah. Great movie.
Awesome movie.
Great series. The first 2 are phenomenal movies.
Can you really say it's a great series if only the first 2?
Because then they go down the crapper after that. Bad.
And like
bad.
They jump. They do such weird shit. They go back in time. They're jumping forward in time. I am interested to see the show coming out, Alien Earth.
Yeah, I'll watch it, see what it does.
From what I understand, it's supposed to be a prequel to the first movie?
That's what I understand. It's going to...
How?
I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do that.
Because in the first movie, they make contact. What was it, like UV-426 or something?
Yeah.
Something like that. Which is where the second movie takes place, too, which is actually pretty cool. Yeah. Another connection. But, like, they don't know what this alien is that just popped out of this thing. And if I have no idea.
I mean, the best one after the original 2 was probably this last one, Romulus.
No. Romulus.
Well, it's the best out of the others. It was good. It was watchable. But you have these 2 here. Then you have the rest.
Prometheus was probably better than Romulus.
What is?
Prometheus.
See, I didn't like Prometheus.
And even that sucked.
Yeah, I didn't like Prometheus.
I didn't like Romulus. The only character I liked in Romulus was the black cyborg.
Yeah,
I forget his name. Yeah, George?
Good. George, I think it was.
Yeah, George.
I think it was.
Yeah, whatever.
But
he was the best character of the whole thing. Like, I was like, I just want to see him get out and everyone else can die.
But that shows you have these 2 great movies, and then this drop off.
Yeah, all of them are a massive drop off.
Yeah. It's like Predator. Predator's here.
If Predator takes place in the same universe as like the Alien movies, though,
yeah, Predator 2 is. Then you got Predators, and you got what was the last one? Prey.
Oh God, Prey.
And then
Prey wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it was basically about a suicidal predator tries to fight this little Native American girl.
Yeah,
and then he suicides himself to death.
Yeah,
it was so bad. That predator went out of its way to kill itself.
The only good part of that movie was when he was fighting the grizzly bear.
I don't remember that. Yeah, that was the only part. Are you thinking of The Revenant? You just put a predator in there. DiCaprio.
So my number 1, a lot of people think this was a TV series, but yes, it was. But it was released in a theater. Battlestar Galactica from 1978, starring Lauren Green, Dirk Benedict, and Richard Hatch. I loved the original Battlestar Galactica and the TV series. I loved the remake from the 2000s.
Yeah, remake from the 2000s was awesome.
It's awesome. But as a kid, 1978, I can remember this being advertised on, I don't remember if it was ABC, CBS, NBC, whatever, that this is coming out. And George Lucas and the Star Wars creators actually sued Glenn Larson from Battlestar Galactica because of some of the similarities. I saw Battlestar Galactica in the theater and watched the TV series. I love it. It's about the last humans being chased by the Cylons, and they're trying to find Earth. And they did find it in Battlestar Galactica in 1980, which sucked. But in the TV series from the 2000s, they finally do find it, and the way they did that was awesome. You're thinking
I need to rewatch that show.
You're thinking they're going to find Earth like us. Nope. They went back and they landed in Australia? It must have been because they had the Aborigines. And it was. But Battlestar Galactica from 1978 is one of my favorite sci-fi movies of all time.
What I remember that movie is the every time they showed the radar, it was the same image.
Same image. A lot of the fighter scenes.
Yeah.
Are the same when the Cylons are coming down, it's the same, the Vipers. But as a kid...
Yeah, but I didn't see it as a kid.
I did.
I saw it as somebody who's already seen Star Wars.
Yeah, but I did. But I had already seen Star Wars, too. I couldn't get enough of Star Wars and Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, which, by the way, one of the stipulations for this was we could not use any Star Wars. That's why we don't have any Star Wars on here. Or else Star Wars... The Empire Strikes Back would be my one.
Oh, yeah. We couldn't use anything that had Earth in it.
Yeah, nothing
because
that had
if I didn't put Earth in here, if we could have had Earth, I would have had Flash Gordon.
Oh, I would have had a lot more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But that was the kicker of this one. No Earth, no Star Wars. So that was our list.
You wanted me to remind you.
Oh, yeah.
Something about stinking Disney.
But that was our list. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have anything, again, leave comments and let us know what yours would be. So speaking of Disney, we got a few minutes. So the board of directors are actively trying to push Bob Iger out now.
Who cares?
I do.
Who cares?
I do. And guess what else they did? Guess who will not be coming back to for Disney at all?
Everyone?
I wish. Rachel Zegler. They finally said, you know what? This lady destroyed us. You're gone.
Rachel Zegler was a pebble in the pond compared to this avalanche known as Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah, but her problem was she couldn't shut her mouth. She was out there saying the dumbest crap, and they finally are like, yeah, you're not coming back.
Yeah, but
we're done with you.
Yeah, but Kathleen was making the dumbest crap.
Well, Kathleen Kennedy's on her way out this year. And then you get rid of her, you get rid of Bob Iger. Maybe when those guys go, these other board of directors let's get rid of all these other idiots and maybe start trying to fix Disney.
Well, apparently that's what happened from what I understand, that's sort of what happened in the Marvel side is all these woke producers and writers and crap that have, absolutely torpedoed them from phase, 4 on? Or no, 3 on?
Phase 3.
Yeah.
4 and 5 sucked.
So Infinity War and Endgame was the end of phase 3, right?
Yep.
So yeah, from phase 4 on,
yep,
they had all these woke idiots in charge, and apparently they've quietly kicked them out.
Oh yeah,
and only kept the people that were actually making good stuff.
Now, don't get me wrong, there was some good stuff in 4 and 5, but not much.
Yeah, I mean I haven't seen it yet, but Guardians of the Galaxy 3 I heard was good.
I enjoyed Guardians.
Werewolf at Midnight or something.
Werewolf at Midnight. Werewolf by Night.
Werewolf by Night
was awesome.
Yeah, like there was a few gems.
Yeah, the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special, awesome.
Is that it though?
See,
none of the TV shows were good. WandaVision was terrible. I had high hopes for WandaVision.
See, I enjoyed
the first
WandaVision.
couple episodes I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Then that show tanked itself.
Yep. No, I enjoyed WandaVision for about halfway through. Loki, don't like Loki. One of the biggest ones I was looking forward to because I love the character. I love the comic books, everything about it because he's intertwined with Werewolf by Night, is Moon Knight. He's one of my favorite Marvel characters, and they crapped all over that in the TV show. So,
Yeah, Moon Knight was something that had potential. Yeah. And then from what I heard about it, I was like, yeah, I'm not watching that.
Yeah. And speaking of that, we got Andor coming out next week. Andor season 2. I'm looking forward to it because I love this first season of Andor. Yeah. It's the only Star Wars TV series that I can say the first season was
It
great.
Probably is really good. It probably is. Yeah. I'll never watch it.
Yeah, you will.
No, I won't.
I'll give you the Blu-ray.
You can't make me.
I can't make you, but
we have Disney Plus at work. I can watch it at work anytime I want. You know what I'd rather watch than Andor? Anything else. Look, I watched episode 7, 8, and 9 again, okay? 7 didn't like murder my soul, but I knew that 8 was coming. Made a whole bunch of like these like notes because my plan was to never watch 7, 8, 9 ever again, which I won't.
Yeah, you will.
But 8 killed my soul so much. I watched 9 with my friggin' arms crossed and just thinking
the darkness.
I was just so tired. It was so bad. That stupid Uchi knife or Uchit, whatever his name was, is the dumbest MacGuffin in the history of cinema.
Yeah,
they handed Star Wars to a bunch of idiots who didn't understand it, right?
No.
They used hyperspace as a toy. Okay. They used lightsabers as a toy.
Okay. We got a special coming up about Disney Star Wars.
I hate Disney Star Wars.
Keep it in that for that day. So that was our show for today. Now we'll discuss what we're going to do next week.
I don't even care anymore. You pissed me off.
Which next week, because Dave didn't come up with a subject to do, so I decided last minute we are going to do our favorite cartoons growing up.
So anything animated that was like a TV show?
Yep, animated. You know, Flintstones, Jetsons, that sort of stuff.
Yep.
So that'll be next week.
Mine will definitely be different than yours because we grew up in 2 different eras.
Yeah, and you'll probably have something like, what's that? What's a Cat Dog? You'll probably have something like that. Or,
what the hell is Cat Dog?
Remember, it was that cartoon that kids that had half the body was a cat and half the body was a dog?
That's a thing?
Yeah, that's a thing. And what was the other? What was the one with all the Rugrats, which I actually kind of like.
Rugrats was a good show. It won't make my list, but it was a damn good show. Okay.
Okay. But so next week is our top 10 cartoons.
Cartoons from when we were
kids. Like our like they remember the old days of Saturday morning cartoons for me. And then our next one after that will be the one Dave so wants to do. That will be our May the 4th be with you special for this year. And that'll be discussion all about Disney Star Wars.
That'll be a 10-parter.
We will have to give.
I don't even know.
We'll have to give Dave some Xanax or something before.
I don't even know where to start with these ass pirates.
We only have an hour, so you got to make it quick. But we'll give you
1 hour is not enough to cover.
Can't have any of that though.
1 hour is not enough to cover those idiots. 2 hours might not even be enough.
So that's our next episode. It'll be our favorite cartoons growing up. Got anything to say before we boogie, before they come out and kick us out?
Yeah, I got my hair cut. I don't look like a murder hobo anymore.
I didn't know that was you in the truck. It's like, holy crap.
Well, I see this prick coming up on my ass. I'm like, oh, look, it's Dave. That's cool.
Yeah. So, again, that's our show for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any comments, please leave comments, and we will see you next week. Have a great day.
Go Birds.